Coming up on this week's edition of Thunder Insider, we'll go one-on-one with Reggie Jackson.
None of it gets accomplished without every guy doing his job.
Take you along on a trip to the North Pole with the Thunder Girls.
The reindeer were excited. They pranced and paced, ringing their silver bells that hung from their harnesses.
All that and more is coming your way starting right now. Welcome to this edition of Thunder Insider. Leslie McCaslin joined by Matt Pinto and Grant Long. Well, it's been yet another wonderful December for this Thunder franchise and their fans. A successful 2013 so far, and the wins have come no matter who they're playing. So let's start there. Talking about the success this team has had against teams with winning records, 11 wins. Grant, what do you think the biggest difference has been so far this season?
I think it's impressive simply because you talk about playing an Eastern Conference team, you only get a chance to see them once in your own building, so the preparation has to be very quick versus seeing a Western Conference team that you're going to see 3, possibly 4 times, so you have some type of familiarity with them. So it's all about making the adjustments and being ready to play when you come across those Eastern Conference teams, and that, to me, that's been impressive.
And the other thing is that this team has an ability to get to certain levels, and when they bring that level of play, there are a few teams, if any, that can hang with them. And I think when we see those pockets of extraordinary play, it tends to demoralize an opponent, whether their record is on the plus side or minus side coming in, and this Thunder team just tends to build on that.
Yeah, they have a focus every night, no matter who they're playing. 11 wins is the most in the NBA, and we've talked about the success of this team. We haven't talked a lot about the man at the helm. Of course, Scott Brooks got his 250th win this month already, and then you know, he's the 11th fastest coach to reach that. When we talk about what he's been able to do over the last 5.5 years with this team, what has impressed you the most?
I think the biggest thing is the continuity with the organization and the players he's had and the way they've been developed. He's tireless with his staff of making certain the younger guys get better from day to day. He's really established principles, Grant, that he adheres to on a daily basis, on an hourly basis, on a weekly basis, and I think that level of stability and consistency is really important.
I think to add to that, I think his communication level is also one of the best that I've seen as far as coaches and players are concerned. You ask any player on this team and they'll tell you how genuine Scott is and how much he has a concern for them, not only on the floor but off the floor, and I think that goes a long way when you have players, especially young players. And then you think about also the fact that he's the same guy every day. And players need to see that their coach is going to be a consistent personality every day, Matt, and I think that's a big plus for him.
He talks about being humble and hungry, and he defines that. He always has a sense of humor about what's going on around himself. He's self-deprecating the way he approaches things. A lot of coaches in this league are not at all that way. He's very grounded, and I think the players appreciate the fact he had to work really hard to stay in the NBA. They recognize that.
And then you think about this too. We're talking about his 250 wins. He's a guy that can get it done execution-wise also. I think he's one of the best when you talk about teams coming out of a timeout or at the start of the quarter break. They get a play and they go out and they execute. They get something good from that. I've seen this time and time again from Scott.
Yeah, you can tell his players respect him. They always say how much they've learned from him. Of course, one of those is Reggie Jackson. You had a chance to go one-on-one with him earlier this season. Here's more on Reggie.
For new guys on this roster, how would you go about letting them know what this team is all about?
Everyone has to collectively do the small things in order for the big things to happen. Big games, such as Kevin scoring, doesn't happen without guys like Perk and guys like Serge setting screens, or Nick. Doesn't happen without us getting defensive stops and more possessions. Doesn't happen without guys being willing to hit them on target. So none of it gets accomplished without every guy doing his job, including the bench, getting everyone hyped, refueling. So it's all the little things that make the big picture.
Energy inside Chesapeake Arena, what does it do for you guys as a team?
The energy inside Chesapeake doesn't allow us to really be flat. Of course, 82 games, it happens at times, but for the most part, when you have fans like that, there's no way you can't be awake for a game. It's hard. There have been days I didn't get my usual pregame naps, been tired, but once you step on that court, or just once you step into that arena and they explode the way they do, you feel it.
Foundation piece here is defense for you guys as a team. Why is defense important?
Defense is where it starts. That's the thing that we preach. It's hard to outscore somebody each night without doing anything on the defense end. So we know we're going to have slumps some nights, but as long as we can try to do it collectively, defensively, we always have a chance.
How do you stay grounded in the different experiences that go on?
I think it's very cliche, but you say don't get too high or don't get too low. The games are going to bring highs and lows, but you can't, as a person, you can't go through those experiences with it.
Jackson has been on fire.
When you're at the top of the mountain, you got to stay level to stay hungry. And when you're at the bottom, feeling like you're defeated and you're trying to climb up, you have to understand that it's not always good. And that's the fun part about it. Like, really, it's not fun being here. There's no pleasure without pain. So going through that pain, especially with another group of guys at times, is what makes the good so good. So tasting victory isn't as great without tasting defeat first.
This community loves this team, and the connection between the Thunder and the community is pretty extraordinary. Can you talk a little bit about that and how you experience that in terms of giving back?
No, they give to us. I think people always see, because of the position we're in sometimes monetary value, we're viewed higher, but we're not. We're just everyday people. But they allow us to come be part of their lives and be part of their community and accept us the way they cheer for us every night, that you want to just give back.
Thank you.
No problem. I gotta try to explain before, we're just a reflection of them. So what this city is, what everybody thinks the Thunder organization is about, is just a reflection of the people of the state. So it's a blessing to go out there and represent the people who live here, because they're second to none. They're just some of the best, most character people I've met in my life.
Ahead on Thunder Insider.
We talk about screening a lot, and we know how important it is. I think all of our bigs, we value it, and we realize how important it is to the team, and so it's something that we take pride in.